Hey, you guys. So today I am going to be sharing all about a new tool that I've used. As you guys can see, I'm still here in lovely Florida, woo woo, which is awesome. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys a new tool that I ended up finding a few weeks ago. I had a student who was struggling with really formulating his ideas, and we're working on writing every single day, and I just needed a little bit more extra something to really beef up what we were doing in writing. And I thought, okay, for this particular kid, I'm going to see if there's anything like a writing workshop, something online that already has like videos that kind of go through the process and all that kind of stuff. And guess what? I found it and I was so excited. So I downloaded like the 30-day free trial, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a go with my student use stuff. I think this will be a great tool for him. I don't have to pay unless I really enjoy it, right? So I love when programs have a 30-day free trial. And so I'm going to share with you guys what the name of this tool is, how you can use it, what it looks like, all in a moment. So I want to personally thank you guys all for joining me today as I am live here in Wisconsin. You know what I forgot to do? I totally forgot to bring my phone into the office. So I'm not able to look on two devices and be able to see the comments that you have today. So I so apologize. This is what happens when you hold a big event all weekend and then you are just exhausted come Monday morning. But it was an amazing event that we had. And today I specifically want to tell you guys all about the reading webinar that I'm going to be hosting on Wednesday. The title of it is How to Close the Reading Gap a Full Year with 8 to 12 Hours of Instruction. Now, I don't have a way to be able to put inside, I'm going to see if I have a way to be able to put this inside of the chat real quick. I'm going to open it up on my computer. And I am going to, I've got 7 people in here. Oh, awesome. All right. So here is the link. I am able to share this. I just have to go back and forth a little bit. That's fine. I can do that. So here is the link to that webinar if you guys are interested in joining. So we've got our lovely Main Street Math in the house, Robert, whoop, whoop, hello, hello. We've got Beth in the house. We've got Harshal and Maria. Awesome. So glad that you guys are here today and joining us. So let me now also share with you that webinar is going to be on Wednesday, just 2 days from today. And again, I'm going to be sharing with you how to close the reading gap a full year with 8 to 12 hours of instruction. All right, so let me go here. I'm going to share my screen so you can see this new tool. You ready? It is called writingcity.com. That's right, writingcity.com. So let me come on over, share my screen with you. And this is the home, okay? So it is an entire writing curriculum that you can access online. Think about it as Raz Kids for writing, okay? It's got every single writing tool on here that you're possibly going to need. It is specifically for kids that are K through 5, and you want to be able to at the same time. Now, here's something that I have noticed. So I ended up doing writer's workshop in the school system when I taught in the school system. And the writing workshop systems never had like a really strong grammar approach. And this does. And so that's what I really like about it, is it does have both writing and grammar built into it. It doesn't have spelling built into it, but spellingcity.com, you could find the words that the kids aren't getting correct, and you could utilize spellingcity.com, which is free, and have the kids do some practice activities to be able to increase their spelling and get better results with their spelling. In fact, I have one student that I started using this with, and she was struggling with writing words. I was having her go through the words their way word lists and be able to do sorts and talk about the words and what do you notice about the patterns and all that kind of stuff. And it was just too much for her. So I thought, okay, let me see what types of words she's using in her writing. I set up an account for her inside of here, and we ended up taking a look at some of the words she wasn't writing. And all of a sudden, we chose 5 of the words that she didn't spell correctly, and she was able to spell all 5 of those words by the end of the lesson correctly. I asked her the next session if she could spell those words, and she was able to spell those words correctly. So not one approach is ever going to work for any student, and that's what I love about tutoring specifically, is that you're like, okay, well, I know this works for most students. Let me try that. And then if that doesn't work, let me try this. And so I did that approach with her using this tool. So I'm using this tool now with 2 of my students. So what I love about this is it's got videos there. It's got some different activities that they already put inside of it, which is great. You can set it up so that one of the things I wanted is the ability to be able to set my students up at different grade levels, because I had to choose a grade level as if I was a class. So if I'm a classroom teacher, I have second grade, they're going to go through the second grade curriculum. But as we know, just because you're in second grade doesn't mean you're writing at a second grade level. And so we may need to bring you down to the first grade level, right? And so I asked, do I have the ability to do that? And they said, you can talk to our developers and we'll make sure that you're able to assign the student the grade level they are. So it's going to be a little bit of a hassle to do it. It's not as easy as like Raz Kids, but there is the ability to do that. And that's what made me happy with the program. And I am purchasing this program. So I'm just going to go right on in here and show you how to log in. It's very similar to Spelling City. So I'm going to put in here that I'm actually an educator, because I can't ever remember what my student accounts are. So I go under educator. I'm going to show you the educator backside. This is where I can see how my students are doing. Gives me like a week at a glance, kind of like what have they been working on. They don't have any things that have been submitted this week. There's different ways that I can see my class page of writing. It says share your students' writing, safely publish exemplary student work to your own class page. So you can share that, which is kind of cool. You can even set it up so that the parents can see it then as well. And they can only see the stuff of their child versus seeing all of the kids' stuff, but you can really show off the work. So they have some different pieces in here that are kind of nice. I'm going to click here to my students. If I click on my students, I can add a student if I would like to. I would just type in what is their username, what is their password, what's their first name, and then I can't select grade level right now. So this is where I have to talk to them and see, can I change this? And they'll have to open that on up for me to be able to choose their grade level. And then I don't have to put in an email address. So you see here where it says star, 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 star. So for username, for first name, for last name, and grade level, that's where I have to make sure I add that information. Otherwise, I won't be able to add them as a student. Once that information is inside of there, I can click add students. That button will become a dark green for me to be able to add them. I'm going to come back on over here. And now this is why it's so easy for me, because I can now come in here and I can say, okay, I want to log in as Youssef. So I'm going to click over here. It's going to now bring me to the student side, and I can show you what that looks like. So the second grade unit, if I click on this, it's broken down into different days and lessons. I can always go back to a lesson and rewatch it if I want to. What I want to do right now is I'm going to share my sound so that you guys can hear what does a lesson sound like.
Unit 2, Narrative Writing, BME. Day 1. Think about your favorite book or movie. No matter what book or movie you thought of, it was organized and had a beginning, middle, and end. Today I'm going to begin writing my own story. I'm thinking about a time when I was a little girl and we went to pick out a new black Labrador Retriever puppy. I can still remember the long drive in the car to a kennel in northern Michigan. When we finally arrived, there were so many little wiggly black puppies to choose from. Let me show you how I will plan my story and write using a beginning, middle, and end. In the beginning section of my BME planner, I'm going to think about how the story started. I remember that my family decided to get a new puppy, a black Labrador retriever. I'm not going to write all of that down in this little area. Instead, I think I'll just write down decision, and I'll write black lab retriever. Now I'll move on to the middle of my story. This is when we got to the kennel. I remember it smelled really bad. And we picked out little Juno. I'm only going to write a couple key words that will help me remember my details later on. I'll write kennel, and I'll write down picked out Juno. That's enough. Now the ending. This was the best part, I think. We brought little Juno home in a cardboard box. This time I'm just going to make a quick sketch of a little dog in a box. As I begin to write today, I'm going to remember to use capitals and punctuation. I need a capital at the beginning of sentences, but also at the beginning of proper nouns. A proper noun is the name of a person, pet, special holiday, product name, or geographic name. I'll start with the beginning. I'm going to take the short phrases that I wrote for the beginning and I'm going to create complete sentences from them.
This is one thing that I love that she's doing is that when they're taking notes, they're saying, okay, you don't have to write in complete sentences up here and then put it all together down here. They're saying, have these thoughts in your head. And she's already got this all laid out, which is beautiful. Like I don't have to think of a story to model for my student. She's already thought about everything. And I really, really appreciate how beautiful this is done and how well done it is.
Sentence must have a subject and a predicate.
How many of your students write and there's no period? The period's like right at the end, right? She's teaching them that, look, you have to have a subject, you have to have a predicate, and then, then you have your period, right? So she's trying to teach them this is how we need to think about sentences so that I don't have one long paragraph with a period at the end.
Losing our sweet, I'm going to describe the dog.
Great modeling, right? She's doing some great modeling here of what she's thinking as she's writing, because kids often don't know what's inside of another writer's head. And I really like that she's doing that.
Dog, Brownie, no, that's a proper noun because that was the name of our dog, hadn't been easy for my family. I need a period at the end, and I capitalized the beginning, and I also indented the first line of my paragraph. Now to write about the decision to get a new puppy. I need a subject and a predicate. I'm going to add as time went on.
Now you might be wondering, why does she have skipping a space here? She's skipping a space here because when you edit, if they're on paper, then you have a way to be able to put the little caret up there so that you can write any revisions later. So that's why she's got like these skips. That's what that is. The X's are where you're able to write.
We, that's my subject, decided, you see how I add the word decided and decision, they fit in there beautifully, that it was time to get a new puppy. Decided that it was time to get a new puppy as my predicate. I've also added a period at the end of my sentence. Now comes the next part about the black lab retriever. We wanted
So she continues to go through this. She continues to go through this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip it forward here. Let's see if it will let me. Will it let me? It might not let me.
Black Labrador retriever. Labrador is actually the name of a geographic place. We don't capitalize the kinds of dogs. This retriever actually comes from a place called Labrador. It's also a short sentence, and I wonder if it's a whole sentence. Well, I added the subject, we, and the predicate, wanted a black Labrador retriever. I guess it's complete, so I've added the period. Now I'll write the middle. I need to include sentences about the kennel and picking out Juno. I'll indent and capitalize the first word. So one beautiful June day.
Great modeling here.
Oh, June, that's the name of a month. I need a capital J. We went to the kennel and as we approached, I am going to capitalize my I, heard the barking and smelled, I've got to think about spelling as I go. I need endings on some of these words like ing or ed. The odor of a bunch of dogs. I'll need a new sentence and a capital. My heart started beating, there's that ing at the end of the word, faster as we were led to see the 9 new puppies. I know how to spell puppies. It's I-E-S. Change the Y to an I and add E-S. New sentence, one with a capital, walked right up to us as if she had chosen us. This is a telling sentence, so period. Now it's time to write the end. Again, I'll indent and capitalize the first word in the sentence. We, capitalized, walked her out to the car, put her in a cardboard box, and took her home. Juno, oh, here's her name. I need a capital. Seemed like a perfect name. And she seemed happy with the new family that she had chosen. End of sentence. Period. Now it's time to reread my piece to make sure that it sounds right and that I've included the details that I planned to write about. In the beginning, I need to see or hear decision, black lab retriever. Losing our sweet dog Brownie hadn't been easy for my family. As time went on, we decided, there's one of my details, that it was time to get a new puppy. We wanted a black Labrador retriever. I can add my green check here in the beginning. I've included my details, and again here in my plan box. In the middle, I should hear about the kennel and picking out Juno. So one beautiful June day, we went to the kennel. There it is. And as we approached, I heard the barking and smelled the odor of a bunch of dogs. My heart started beating faster as we were led to see the 9 new puppies. One walked right up to us as if she had chosen us. I've included both the details, one about kennel and one about picking out Juno, so I can put a check here and a check here in my plan box. Now in the end, I should hear about the puppy in the cardboard box. We walked her out to the car, put her in a cardboard box, there it is, and took her home. Juno seemed like a perfect name, and she seemed happy with the new family that she had chosen. I can put a check here and a check here. Today you learned that you should plan a writing piece before you write. You also learned that a narrative should have a beginning, middle, and end, and that proper nouns, names of people, pets, and places, holidays, and product names, should be capitalized.
Such a great modeling here. I absolutely love that. I think that's fantastic. So you've got this piece of it, right? Somebody who's already thought about what to write about. They walk the students through the process. The next step is for the child to practice. So here they get to now make their very own beginning, middle, and end. So again, here we're focusing on, remember, you just have to have a word that's going to jot the memory so you can write the sentence when you're writing. Let me come on over here. Step 3. Step 3 is where they actually are going to do the writing and they can reference what they wrote. So if I come on over here and I put in dog, home. I just want you to see how, like, okay, there are the thoughts. When I go to step 3, they're saved there and I can come back. Oh, my students is already here. That's great. So he put brother gave him a PC. So he wanted to talk all about how he was given a new computer. And he put here that the middle was that this all happened. He was about to go to sleep. This happened at his old house. And then he was going to talk about at the end how good it felt to be using it. And so then he wrote his story and he was able to go back to that to remind himself what he wrote. And then in step 4, here's his story. So he wrote, one day, my brother was asked if he wanted a PC. He said no, and that I could have it. I was so happy he let me have it. So the people who live in the house that I lived in came to sleep at my new house for a week because their water wasn't working. In that week, the guy who knows all about technology in the family made the PC. It was right before I was about to go to sleep. Then when I saw it, I didn't go to sleep. I stayed up and used it for approximately 30 minutes. How fun, right? So then you can submit that to teacher. You can save to draft if you're not done. And then the next step, when we come on back on over here, I'm going to go to return to my home page. There's all these other things. There's now some games, lessons, and PDFs that he has access to. There we go. So one of them is a sort it out. Remember that the whole purpose of what she was writing was practicing proper nouns and common names. So there's an activity that's going to share all about that.
Let's sort things out. Sorting can help you see how things are alike and how they are different. Sometimes, when I put my toys away, I like to group them by size, or by shape, or even by color. Sort each noun into groups of nouns that are common or proper. Common nouns. Proper nouns. What group does this go in?
So now I could talk about, like, if my student needs more help with understanding what a common noun and a proper noun is, I can go through that and have the conversation with them. If they seem like they have a good handle of it, we can just go through and
Right. Common nouns fit in that group. Find the right group for this.
Then I could just have that conversation with them, right? And we can kind of have fun with it, or they could just go ahead and do the activity.
You know your proper nouns. What group does this go in? Atlantic. Yup. Proper nouns go there. Find the right group for this. You know your proper nouns. Drag this to the group it goes with. Check. Good. Common noun it is. What group does this go in? Ape. You know your proper nouns. Drag this to the group it goes with. Country. Yes, that's a common noun. Find the right group for this. Ocean. Yes, that's a common noun. I can see all of the common and proper nouns sorted out.
You got 8 out of 8 right on your first try. You've got this.
And then there's another one. This one is called Highlight It, another game that they have set up.
It's time for Highlight It! Oh my gosh! It is my favorite thing to do, and now you get to do it with me! Okay, all you have to do is select a color and follow the instructions to highlight the right text. If you need to erase, just use the white. Ready, set, go highlight! Highlight the beginning of the story in orange, the middle of the story in yellow, and the end of the story in green. Hit submit when you think you've got everything correctly highlighted.
What's nice is when you forget, when you click on the color, it tells you.
Highlight the beginning of the story in orange.
So I've selected it and I can highlight the beginning of the story in orange.
Highlight the middle of the story in yellow.
Now I've selected yellow and I can highlight everything yellow that is in the middle.
Highlight the end of the story in green.
And I can highlight the end in green. Then I just hit submit.
Submit. Let's see how you did. Here's where you highlighted. And here's where those colors should be. Orange was for the beginning of the story. Yellow was for the middle of the story. Green was for the end of the story. Wow! You got them all! Hit next when you're done reviewing it. This was the highlight of my day!
Pretty awesome, right? So that's cool. It does this for every single one of the different lessons, and it's got different units for different types of writing. There's 7 different types of writing that they have different units for. I was only released because I had the 30-day free trial on one type of unit. I got to choose what that unit was. Now, if you want to go and pay for this, I'm going to come on back over. Yep, I'm going to come on over. So they have it paid. You pay for 30 seats and it ends up being $299 for 30 students. So if you're a writing tutor and you work with kids from K through 5, this is a great tool. If you're a reading tutor and you know that some of your students need help with being able to write better, this is a great program. You can work on it with them. You can assign it as additional homework and then check on it and see how they're doing with the different assignments, because there's a teacher backside where you can take a look. And I'm kind of looking for those things as well, because parents do want their kids working on things sometimes in between sessions. And when I can find an easy tool like this that's already like, look, watch this video, do these activities, that makes it a lot easier for me so that I don't have to do it. So for me, when I think about pricing, I think about, is this a tool that I'm going to use with students? Could I add writing as a piece of what I do? Sure. Can I add more value to the current tutoring that I'm doing with my students? Sure. Do I have enough students to pay for the tool that I'm going to be utilizing? Those are different things that I'm taking into consideration when I'm thinking about, is this a tool I want to add into my tutoring? If you're saying yes over and over again, it's a great tool for you. If you're not, then it might not be a good tool for you. So just something to kind of think about as you were thinking about which tools to purchase. On Thursday, you guys, this week, you're going to get to see me with some other reading tutors that have gone through the Reading Interventionist program. If you haven't been through the Reading Interventionist program, you're definitely going to want to come join us so that you can see their experiences, or if you just want to support the other tutors inside of our community, please come join us for that call. They're going to be sharing what their experience was like in the Reading Interventionist program, and you're going to get to hear, hey, is this something that was useful for them? What are some of the things that they learned about reading that they now were able to apply with their students? So can't wait for you guys to join us for that. And remember, we have our free webinar on Wednesday, January 13th at 5:00 p.m. Central Time. And there is a link inside the chat. Let me come back on over to here so that I can put that in the chat again for you guys right there. And you can join us for that webinar. So glad you guys were able to join us today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see all of you soon.